right, number one. Number one is challenge yourself. If you'll challenge your excuses, if you'll challenge reality, if you'll challenge yourself, sometimes like when you're struggling with a discipline, you can get a little lost on like, what's the point anymore? But if you'll stay in a mindset and a thought process of challenging yourself and pushing yourself, that might be the little extra energy that you need to take the step. And when I was explaining this earlier to Nick, when I first went through the list before we started recording, I told Nick this was like one of the first ones that I had early on. This was a pre-Navy, pre-military deal for me. And the one-liner that for me that goes with challenge yourself is that your quit defines you. What I was telling Nick was that going into the Navy, I realized like, okay, I'm setting out to do one of the hardest things that I could possibly do in my life at an early age. And I realized that I kind of backed myself into a serious corner where I can go one of two directions, where I can go the direction of, okay, whatever it takes, I'm going to make it through this and I'm going to pass. And for the rest of my life, like anything that's not harder than SEAL training, which there's not very many things. Yeah. There are. It's not the hardest thing in the world. There's a lot of hard things in the world. But a lot of things are much easier than SEAL training. And so I can go that direction. And for the rest of my life, most things I'll encounter, I already know that I can do them. Right? Or if I quit on SEAL training, I've already put myself into a box of anything that is this hard or harder than SEAL training, I'll probably fail or quit. Right? And so that's what I mean by your quit defines you. And it doesn't have to, right? Like I talk about Michael Mansour, he quit and he said, this doesn't define me. Yeah. But I told myself in that moment, and it's a way that I challenge myself, is that I don't want to quit on this. I don't want to give up. I don't want to fail on something because this can define me. And so challenge yourself. If you want to be more disciplined, push yourself, reach for more within yourself, and let that give you some energy to be more disciplined.
I love that, man. I'm glad you went into the quit and how your quit defines you and how you use that to leverage yourself a little bit. So just to make sure I understand this. So you're just saying like as a rule for your discipline, it's like always challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Just always push for like that one more.
Yeah, thanks for asking that too, because that triggered another thought for me. Kind of the reverse side or the opposite side of that. If you're not challenging yourself, then you're trying to just maintain disciplines. Yeah. Right? And think about what happens when you go to the gym and you try to just maintain. Yeah. Like you're either growing or you're dying. Right? So part of challenge yourself is like being disciplined is about growth. Being disciplined is about becoming the best version of yourself. Being disciplined is about accomplishing a goal. Being disciplined is not, how can I just maintain everything that I got?
Yeah. No, that's good.
So that's one of the pieces.
That's a company with a growth mindset. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Number 2, delay gratification. And we've talked about this on the podcast before. A thought process that I use that's a temptation-related process, a thought process that also relates to delay gratification is this, and that's, you'd like that, wouldn't you? It's part of the conversation that I have with myself. So how delay gratification relates to discipline. Sometimes being disciplined is about trying to not do things, right? Someone's trying to be disciplined in their eating, and eating is probably a topic we'll reference multiple times throughout discipline because it's an area that most people are trying to be more disciplined. Yeah. And if you'll just think about delay gratification, you're not saying I can't ever have this. You're saying I'm not going to have it right now. Yeah. Right. And it's the same thing as the resiliency thought process. If you don't have to do this for forever, you just have to do it for right now. The delay gratification will help you realize that being disciplined is not, anti-freedom. Being disciplined is the freedom to make your own choices. Yes. And so just push off whatever that thing is. Like, okay, I want to, I don't want to do any more reps. I don't want to do any more sets. I just want to do this or whatever's going to make you feel good. Just push it off for a few more minutes. And if you can just delay it, like just tell yourself that. You don't have to say, for example, like if you're struggling with eating Oreos or ice cream, like I need to quit eating this stuff. Pull the ice cream out on the counter, put your phone down next to it, and start a 10-minute timer. And say, I can't have ice. Like I was going to eat it right now.
That's good.
But instead of eating it right now, I have to wait 10 minutes. And if you wait that 10 minutes, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I promise it'll be easier to put it back in the freezer after 10 minutes.
Well, and plus you'll know that if you do decide to eat the ice cream, because let's be honest, we all love ice cream. You'll know that you chose, it was an intentional thing and it wasn't just like on a whim, like, oh, I've got a craving, right?
Right. Because like in between yes and no is not right now. Right. And so sometimes you don't have the strength to say no, but if you can just say not right now, it'll get you a little bit closer to no.
I like that, man. We're going to start our own diet fitness club one day, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I always say if I was your diet coach or your workout coach, we'd get done talking after an hour and you'd say like, now what do I actually do? Right? Because I wouldn't tell you what to do. I would just tell you how to think.
That's some next level workout.
Wait, but where's the workout plan? No.
Yeah. You figure it out.
You figure it out.
You'll be okay. Okay,
number 3, plan ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want like something that'll help a lot with your disciplines, and you and I live our lives this way, not by default, by design, but it's just so normal to us at this point that we plan out our day the day in advance.
Yeah.
And we think ahead about what we want to accomplish, right? If you want to be disciplined in the gym, you can think about, okay, this is the time I'm going to go to the gym. This is what I'm going to wear to the gym tomorrow. This is where I'm going to put my clothes on. Here's the workout that I'm going to do. Like, do all of the easy stuff, but really that's all the work that comes before. Like, I think a lot more people would be able to reach their fitness goals if someone wrote out like here's all the workouts you're going to do for the next 75 days or the next 100 days. Here's the time you're going to do them. Here's the specific sets. Here's exactly what you're going to do. Like, part of what makes it difficult for people is not thinking ahead. And then they arrive at the marathon, essentially, making an analogy, the marathon being the discipline. They arrive at the marathon without their shoes on. They haven't, hydrated. They haven't stretched. And they're like, well, this is too hard. Yeah, because you try to do it all at one time, right? Like, plan ahead for your disciplines.
Okay. No, I'm just working through that. That thought process is if you gave somebody 75 days of workouts, you think that would have a higher success rate for them?
I do.
Huh.
Yeah, by like having it all already planned out.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people most people don't have a hard time starting a discipline. They have a hard time maintaining a discipline.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not like that. You have the desire to work out. You'll have the motivation real early on to jump in to maybe, figure out what your first few workouts are, but you get into a rut over time, or you just don't keep thinking in advance. Right. Like you think in advance when you're not doing anything. So I'm going to start a discipline.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time thinking about it, but then you get into it and you quit planning ahead.
Man, yeah, that's so true. I think about all the times you try and eat healthy. That's what always catches up on you, right? It's like, oh, I just ran out of time, so I just grabbed what was convenient. And that's when it all falls
You've got
apart.
to always be thinking ahead.
Okay. That was number 3?
Yep, that was number 3.
to
We
4.
should probably pick up the pace
I was
a
going to
little
say,
bit.
yeah, we're going to break down every single one. This is a 4-hour bonus episode.
Number 4, take out the trash. And what this means is eliminate opportunities for failure.
Yeah.
Come back to food, again, an easy one, right? Like, this is literal and figurative. Take out the trash. If you're struggling with eating junk food and stuff, throw it all away. Just get it out. Like, do not, put yourself in that place to be tempted. Get rid of all the things that are a temptation for you. Like, and that kind of goes with plan ahead. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna think ahead. Okay, I don't want to eat this stuff anymore, and I'm gonna get rid of it.
And take out the trash. I think you said not all of these apply for it's different tools for different purposes. I think take out the trash is a great one. I think about somebody who's maybe trying to find sobriety.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be a real key for them. We have a friend of ours that actually just shared about being 11 years sober, and he was saying now he could go sit in a bar and it wouldn't bother him at all. But to start with, he had to get out of that environment.
yeah.
So that's a great
I
starter.
know that's a part of AA.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great starter tool right there of taking out the trash. That's
Yeah,
good.
so even if it's not related to eating, all of these things, if you're struggling with the discipline, come back and look through the list or listen to this episode while thinking about whatever that discipline is that you're trying to fix or to make work or to maintain, and keep doing that discipline. If you'll think about it and listen through this episode, 1 or 2 or 3 of these things, you'll be like, okay, that's what I need to be thinking about.
All right, well, let's give it to him. What's 5?
Number 5, scheduled play. So this one can seem interesting, but the way I was explaining it to Nick earlier is, a lot of people they're kind of ADD, or they keep getting distracted essentially throughout the day, and I just keep, getting on Instagram or looking at stuff that's a waste of time or playing games on my phone. Well, if you'll schedule a time to do those things, then when you get that sensation, and it's kind of like delayed gratification, right?
Yeah.
When you'll get the sensation I want to play that game. Well, I've already got time for that.
Yeah.
Right now, this time is for doing this, and later I'll be able to play the thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like when you get that urge, you can satisfy it, like the time is coming.
Yeah.
Right.
It's guilt-free as well, isn't it? Because then when you're in, you can be all in. Everybody knows the value of being present. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. No,
being
that's good.
present, such a big deal. Because the opposite, if you don't have scheduled play, then, that's when your brain can say like, well, when am I going to get to do this?
Yeah.
When am I going to get to
Yeah.
look at Instagram? When am I going to get to play games on my phone? Because you don't have any time scheduled for me.
No, that's good. I think whenever you say, hey, we're going to have a Navy SEAL talk about discipline, what's the fifth one? Oh yeah, schedule play. Totally saw that coming.